number one to get laid. All right, that is it. You say, wow? Is that it? Am I lying?
Yeah.
I'm lying.
I don't know about yours.
No, when we're talking about generally, males want to get laid, okay?
The sort of final kind of,
Yes. But, then yeah.
Brady started out as
but yeah, it wasn't too, I mean,
No, don't lie, Brad. Don't lie. Okay. Okay, but and that is how. So you get the lane part, right? Then you get the car, right? Then eventually the person actually gets to understand how the business actually works, okay? And because they haven't taken an interest in how that business works from the beginning, it sometimes happens too late when they actually wake up and they go, actually, my friend over here, who I've been with for 10 years, is telling me that I should be driving a Bentley because Snoop is driving a Bentley, right? And I'm not driving a Bentley, and obviously somebody's ripping me off, right? And my friend is telling me that in actual fact I can do more for you and you'll be able to earn more money, and that's when the cracks form. It's like that relationship where one of the partners starts cheating, right? And then the breakdown starts, and the breakdown in terms of trust, the breakdown in terms of what management is saying or record company and artist is saying. There's a trust breakdown, which I'd say sometimes it gets repaired, right? I mean, I've been very fortunate that there's one particular artist that I've worked with. Maybe we've had 4 divorces, and the divorces have never really come from my side. It's just like I can just see it happening. Okay, fine, this is going to happen over there. Okay, I'm going to have to pick up the pieces in a year's time, and then like another one would happen, and I'm actually about to go into a 5th relationship. And the reason I do it, right, is because I'm passionate about music. And if I believe in somebody and I believe that somebody has really got more to offer than they've actually delivered before, I'm going to continue supporting that person. So the breakups 99% of the time are most probably about money. It's always about money. It gets down to money. There's a third force or third person that is saying that you can actually earn more money. Just recently, I was very fortunate that a person that I've been working with in an 18-month period had earned 6.2 million rand, right? I've never experienced that in 30 years, right? From POC, Scheme, even Zola, even any of the artists, that somebody has actually had 6.2 million rand go into their account in 18 months. I think that deserves an applause. Straight in to their account over an 18-month period. But obviously, that is not enough, right? Because there's obviously another party that said, no, that actually 6.2 should have been 20.2 or 50.2 or whatever number they had in their head, not understanding in terms of how much money can be earned in our market. And our market is really small. Our market is tough. Our market at the moment, we are bleeding. And we're bleeding because record sales, physical sales are crashing, and digital, they're not rising as quickly to complement and to actually stabilize it. So it gets very difficult when you are passionate about music, because if you just apply a business mind to our industry, I can promise you the amount of time that you spend working in the entertainment industry, if you did any other work, if you did waste disposal, right, you would actually earn more money, right? And that is there because if you look at how much time is put in, from the time you wake up, right, you are dealing with, which is also sad because you're dealing 90% of the time, you're actually dealing with problems. You're not dealing with actual work. And especially the more artists you have, the more problems you have, right? And it's not, and it's weird because it doesn't matter how many times you take somebody through that journey and there's actually a case study of what happened to somebody else and how somebody else behaved. We are supposed to be at a point where we are learning from history. You can learn from, oh, what happened over there? Okay, that's going to repeat itself. It's going to So what we try and do is you try and equip people that you're going to work with because you want the longevity in their career, because it works both ways. I mean, I have some people who I meet for the first time and they'll say to me, yeah, we heard that you buying drugs for your artists, you know. And you're like, why would I do that? Like, is that like, I've got kids? No, I've got kids aged between 18 and 30, right? We all know what happens with drugs. So why would I actually buy drugs for a person that I'm working with and I'm partnering with, that I'm in charge of their career to make sure that they get to the top, and drugs is going to happen? It's going to help them? No. But anyway, there are a lot of fables and a lot of stories out there, which Brad can also get into because he's been around. But I think one of the biggest problems that we have is our time, right? The time that you need to nurture talent, the time that you need to get the talent to actually understand what is going on. There are times where, I mean, I've been in certain relationships where we haven't had a contract for 3-4 years. There's one person that I've worked with for 30 years that we've never had a contract, and we are tight, and there's a certain chemistry bond over there. And it was interesting because we were talking about contracts, and sometimes when that contract equation comes in, right, so you meet somebody, you think that their talent is amazing, right? The last thing I want to deal with is a contract, okay? But, you know, somebody else actually deals with the contract. But then you first want to get to know that person. You first want to get to understand and know whether actually you're going to be in a relationship with this person for at least 3 to 4 years. Can you handle that? Also, can that person handle you? Right? Because I'm the same person that Bradley met 30 years ago, right? Is it that long? Yes. Okay. 29. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. 18. Yeah. So there's the relationship part of that that relationship between you, the company, and the artist is really, it's built on emotion, right? So it's interesting. As an independent label, we've got, so Sony's there, Universal's there, Gallo's there, right? So when somebody's complaining about Sony, they can't complain about so-and-so, at Sony, right? Actually, people don't even talk about Sony. It's just like, because if they say anything about Sony, Sony's going to have their fucking lawyers write them a letter and go, listen, shut the fuck up. And otherwise, correct? Yes, yeah, that is going to happen, right? Don't say the word Sony, okay? As in,
You're going to get a lawyer.
and as an independent record company, it will always be that person, like in this case, me, Lance. Okay? Lance is the person that you're the punching bag, and it's interesting because I never took it seriously before, right? You know, when the media would write things, I'd be like, it's the media, because you know the hype, you know the bullshit, you know that everybody has a job. Every single journalist, by Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock, they're shitting themselves because they've got to find a story for Sunday to interest the people out there to keep their job, right? And so you wouldn't really worry about whatever's written, okay? Now, when I look at, if I could turn back certain situations, every time somebody wrote shit about me, I should have called somebody, sent a lawyer's letter in, so that people know that they don't fuck with you, right? Especially if they're writing bullshit. Because now, the relationships that you're having now, 30 years later, you're meeting people at advertising agencies, and they're saying, wow, we wish that we'd met you earlier because we thought that you're this drug guy who's a gangster, who's part of the mafia, who's all the stuff that is being touted through the tabloids. Okay? So I'm very glad that at this point I can clear my name, all right? And if there's any people with brand opportunities here, I am not a gangster, right? And there are really amazing artists that we're working with. So when I was asked to speak today, I thought that I'd have time to prepare a sort of a whole list of things. I haven't had time. I apologize for that. I've just been speaking off the cuff. And if there's any questions later on that you want to ask about specific things, I'll be willing to answer them. Thanks. Thank you.